Jen was like 5, and Sean was like 5 or 6, probably closer to 6, I think. My friends, Cook says he thinks he was between 4 and 5. Joe said he was somewhere like 5 or 6, somewhere in there. Chris was in the same place. So, you know, pretty much, if you look at when we were riding bikes, you know, if you put years on a horizontal, we were like over here. If this is like, you know, 6, 5, 4, we were there. And Max was over here. And I started thinking, I'm like, holy crap, like, okay, this is cool. Is it just that my son's a freak? Maybe. He's my son. But, you know, so what else could be true about Max? I'm going to open it up to you guys. What else could be true about Max?
You started with earlier.
I started with him earlier. I asked my mom about that. She couldn't disprove or prove that. That's a good point, though. If I started earlier, that's true. But she couldn't remember. She's like, did I start you earlier and just not work with you as much as you work with Max? We were out there like every day with him. So it could have been more consistent. Good. But then I started collecting more data from my neighbors, my kids and their neighbors. And so here's Max, Owen, Lily, Hazel. They were all kind of like, basically it looked like 2 bell curves when we were done collecting the data. But those parents weren't all like us. Some were and some weren't. Like some were out there like every day with the bike, and some weren't. Some of us were big bikers, like I'm a bike commuter up. See, Max always sees me on a bike. He thinks we're on a car. It's like, hey, why are you in the Jeep? It's like so funny. Like, if I'm not on a bike, it looks weird to him. It's funny. So, but not every parent was like that. Not every parent that I surveyed was like that. Sean, go ahead.
Geographics. You guys grew up somewhere else?
East Coast. Now that's one variable that I definitely think is valid. Riding a bike on the East Coast, I would get run off the road once a month, hit about once every 2 or 3 months commuting. I've had almost no problem out here. It's amazing riding a bike out this morning. I used to have to knife through it to grab people. Like, you see me now? So that's one thing for sure. Yeah. What else could contribute?
I think nutrition keeps getting better and brains just keep getting better.
That's right. My kid's a genius.
That's
Right. Technology. Go to technology.
Weight of the bike, size of the bikes, more custom fit to the kids.
I used one of those old school bikes with 2 training wheels slapped on there. Yeah, sure did.
You started with Brother Brothers.
That is what Eric. This is what I'm attributing to. I use training wheels when I learned how to ride a bike. I've been told by many people that training wheels are the worst possible thing you could let a kid learn how to use a bike with because they force you not to think like you're riding a bike. So we got wind of these things called Strider bikes, which are essentially bikes without pedals. So we went to the store, we got a bike, it was like 150 bucks. I'm like, okay. Went to Goodwill, got a Fisher Price bike for $5, cut the pedals off. There you go, buddy. It's essentially the same bike he's riding right there without pedals. And we lowered the seat so he could sit on the seat with his feet down, and then he'd just walk. When he's first, he started this right around 1.5 years old. Right, 1.5 years old. Right, walking. And then what does he start doing? Because he's a little kid. Walking faster. Then he starts going 2 feet at a time. And before you know it, 2 feet at a time, he starts going faster. Physics kicks in, gyroscopic motion, and he starts staying balanced. And he starts lifting his feet up, putting the feet up on the. The first day he was riding that bike, I've got video of this. He's riding down the street. He lifts his feet up and puts them on the top tube. Riding down the street, just like he did with the Strider. Yeah, but the thing was, and he got his helmet on, whatever the studies say. But the idea was that he already had that balance from riding the Strider. So he not only picked up the balance, all it was a matter of then is just putting the feet on the pedals and making sure that you don't get freaked out and trusting physics. Now the kid's jumping off curbs because crap I won't even do. It's 6. So that's we started talking about. Like, I wonder if that's the main, just that whole physical plus the location. I mean, obviously it's much easier and accessible, but I started thinking about it more. Like he only rode his Strider for 1.5 years, which is essentially how long I rode my training wheels. I mean, temporal-wise, you'd think I would pick it up quicker because I was further along in my muscular skeletal development. Maybe things would be easier, but then maybe not. Maybe at a younger age, it's still developing. He didn't develop any kind of. Like, I'm a crappy skier compared to my wife because I'm fighting the old school, you know, like, I'm going downhill at a high speed on 2x4s. This is stupid, you know? Whereas he's like, dude, it's freaking awesome, Dad, watch. So, you know, I don't know. But I definitely think the Strider was part of this, for sure. So it's interesting to find out, he was an outlier, yes? He was an outlier for this curve, but he was perfectly acceptable on this one. And this is 244, believe it or not, this is 244. This is flu rates. This is you getting sick on a normal year. This is the flu rate of somebody who takes a medicine that's working. It's going to lower your chance of a flu. That's the whole point. That's why you do studies, to see which of these curves you're more likely on. Remember I said earlier, you're either here or you're here 100% of the time? This is the beginning, this is the tail end of that idea. If it's very unlikely that you're here, it's much more likely that you're over here. All we do in 243, 244 is quantify that using mathematics. Cool? And that is why we care about outliers. That's about 5 or 6 reasons why you care about outliers. Let's take 5. Let's come back and collect some data. That's one of the next. Yeah. This puts into practice. Plus, you're starting to yawn a little bit too much. Get you out of here. You're recharged. Please ask. Before you. It's a little bit fresh air in here. It's cool out there.
For the second, for one, I did
Okay.
47 and a half FC out of 660.
Okay.
Yeah. And rounded second. And when I did that, it came up to this.
What does that mean? Times 10 to the negative 4. So change that to times 10 4 that way. It's got to know what scientific notation is. We're going to see quite a bit here. Yeah?
Totally gonna watch that video.
Well, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Move on. I feel like
What's the
you know, talking to, not Greg, but the other guy.
You do? Okay.
So Greg's the one that was talking to.
What about it?
Yeah.
With the
He's
long
not,
hair.
he's
Yeah.
already in the back here.
Video?
Yes.
You know, I guess we're just community.
Oh, he took
The other guy was talking to me, he said, well, you plan.
Oh, we can turn this off now.